Have you ever wondered if your dog has been quietly judging you, plotting their escape, or secretly wishing you'd understand them better? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into something that most dog owners never think about, but should. The truth is, there are everyday things we do, things that seem harmless to us, that could actually be hurting your dog's feelings. Yes, dogs have feelings, and yes, you might be accidentally bruising them without even realizing it. Sound crazy? Stick with me, and I promise you'll see your furry best friend in a whole new light. Who knows, by the end of this video, your dog might even thank you with a slobbery kiss. Or at least stop side-eyeing you every time you do that one thing. First up, let's talk about something most of us are guilty of: ignoring your dog when you're busy. Picture this. You're scrolling on your phone, deep into an endless doom scroll of memes, while your dog is sitting there with a toy in their mouth, looking at you like, seriously? I'm right here. Dogs thrive on attention and connection, and when they feel invisible, it's like you've just told them they're not important. And don't think they don't notice. Oh, they notice. And if dogs could roll their eyes, they totally would. Now, let's tackle the next offender: inconsistent rules. One day, you're letting them jump on the couch because, you're such a good boy. But the next day, you're scolding them because suddenly the couch is a no-dog zone. To you, it's just a shift in rules. To them, it's emotional whiplash. Dogs thrive on routine and consistency, and when the rules keep changing, they're left feeling confused and, dare I say, a little betrayed. Imagine if your boss suddenly decided Casual Friday was outlawed and didn't tell you. Ouch, right? Here's a big one: leaving without saying goodbye. Ever notice how your dog watches you like a hawk when you grab your keys? That's because, to them, your departure is like the start of a long, sad indie film where the protagonist never returns. Dogs don't understand why you're leaving or if you'll be back, so skipping a proper goodbye can make them feel abandoned. A simple, cheerful, "see you soon," might not mean much to you, but to your dog, it's everything. And speaking of emotional roller coasters, let's talk about yelling. Raise your voice once, and your dog's ears go back, their tail tucks, and they look at you like you've just crushed their soul. Dogs are incredibly sensitive to tone, and yelling can make them feel scared or insecure. It's like your dog's kryptonite, and trust me, there are far more effective, and kinder, ways to get your point across. Pro tip: next time you're frustrated, take a deep breath and remember that your dog doesn't understand words, but they sure do understand vibes. Next up, too much alone time. While dogs can handle being alone for reasonable stretches, leaving them alone for hours on end can make them feel lonely and neglected. And no, leaving the TV on for background noise isn't a substitute for your presence. Dogs are pack animals, and to them, you're their pack. Being away from you for too long can make them feel like they've been exiled to some cruel, solitary doggy island. Then there's the dreaded bath time. You might see it as a necessary evil, but to your dog, it's like the betrayal of the century. One minute you're their best friend, and the next, you're hosing them down with water and soap, ruining their perfectly good, natural dog smell. And the towel drying afterward? That's just adding insult to injury. Sure, they'll forgive you, but let's be real, they're plotting their revenge while you're scrubbing behind their ears. Oh, and let's not forget the food bowl faux pas. Have you ever accidentally stepped too close to your dog's food bowl while they're eating? To them, that's not just bad manners, it's a personal attack. Dogs are hardwired to protect their resources, so when you hover around their meal, they might think you're about to steal it. The betrayal. Give them space to chow down in peace, and they'll appreciate you for it. Another common culprit: not letting them sniff on walks. To you, it's just a walk, but to your dog, it's an olfactory adventure. When you rush them along, tugging the leash every time they stop to sniff, you're cutting their reading time short. For dogs, sniffing is how they explore the world, and every tree, bush, and lamppost is like the latest bestseller. So, let them sniff. It's their version of Instagram, but way more enriching. And now, the ultimate mood killer: dressing your dog up in clothes they clearly hate. Sure, that pumpkin costume is adorable on Instagram, but your dog might not feel the same way. If they're squirming, pawing at the outfit, or giving you that side eye that screams, really, take the hint. Dogs don't care about fashion, they care about comfort. Unless they're cold or it's genuinely necessary, skip the wardrobe and let them strut their natural stuff. If you've got more than one dog, playing favorites, even unintentionally, can hurt feelings. Dogs are incredibly perceptive and notice when one sibling gets more cuddles, treats, or attention. To your furry friend, favoritism feels like the ultimate betrayal. Think of it as sibling rivalry on 4 legs. Make an effort to spread the love equally. Trust me, a balanced household is a happy household, and no one ends up giving you the stink eye from the corner. We get it. Your dog is adorable, and sometimes you just want to squeeze them like a plush toy. But here's the kicker. Most dogs don't like being hugged. In their world, a hug can feel restrictive and even threatening. If your dog squirms or stiffens when you wrap your arms around them, they're politely asking for some personal space. Instead of a bear hug, try giving them a good scratch behind the ears. They'll appreciate it way more. Picture this. Your dog just aced their new trick, or they mastered sitting quietly instead of chasing the neighbor's cat. And what do? Nothing. Forgetting to acknowledge their efforts can hurt their feelings. Dogs love praise. It's their version of a gold medal. Even a small, good job, or an enthusiastic belly rub can mean the world to them. Don't hold back the applause. Your dog deserves an encore every now and then. Dogs are creatures of habit, and when you suddenly change their routine, it's like flipping their world upside down. Whether it's switching their feeding time or cutting their daily walk short, these changes can make them feel anxious and confused. To us, it's just a minor adjustment, but to your dog, it's as if the universe has gone rogue. Stick to their schedule as much as possible. It's their anchor in an otherwise unpredictable world. We all have that one item we treasure. Your dog is no different. Whether it's a squeaky toy, a chewed-up tennis ball, or even an old sock, taking it away can hurt their feelings. That toy isn't just stuff to them. It's comfort, joy, and familiarity rolled into one. If you really need to remove it, maybe it's too damaged, consider replacing it with something just as fun. Otherwise, you might find your shoes mysteriously redecorated in protest. Imagine coming home to find a chewed-up pillow and immediately scolding your dog. Here's the problem. Dogs live in the moment, and they won't connect your anger with something they did hours ago. To them, it feels like you're mad for no reason, and it can hurt their feelings. Instead, focus on catching them in the act and redirecting their behavior positively. The result? A more confident and happy pup who feels understood. Dogs are always trying to talk to us, whether it's through a bark, a wag, or even that adorable head tilt. But when we brush off their attempts to communicate, it's like hanging up on a friend mid-sentence. Imagine your dog bringing you their leash, clearly ready for an adventure, only for you to say, "Not now, buddy." That look of disappointment? It's real, and it stings. Taking a moment to acknowledge their efforts, even with a simple, "Not now, but later," can mean the world to them, and save you from the guilt-inducing puppy eyes. Finally, let's talk about the silent treatment. Ever gotten annoyed with your dog and given them the cold shoulder? Yeah, they notice. Dogs are social creatures, and when you ignore them, they feel it deeply. To them, your affection is like oxygen, and withholding it is like cutting off their air supply. Even if they've been a little naughty, a calm, loving correction is far better than freezing them out. So, there you have it. 10 everyday things that might be hurting your dog's feelings. The good news? Now that you know, you can start making changes to ensure your furry friend feels loved, respected, and understood. Did any of these surprise you? Have you been guilty of one, or all, of these? Don't worry, your dog's love is unconditional. Just maybe throw in an extra belly rub or two as an apology. And hey, if you found this helpful, stick around. There's always more to learn about keeping your dog happy and healthy.